Glenn, some people have looked at the journalists whom Snowden has chosen to give information to speak with. It's a select group of journalists. What do you say to your critics who say that you've become more of a spokesman for Edward Snowden?
I think that's ludicrous, is what I say to that. Every journalist has an agenda. We're on MSNBC now, where close to 24 hours a day, the agenda of President Obama and the Democratic Party are promoted, defended, glorified. The agenda of the Republican Party is undermined. That doesn't mean that the people who appear on MSNBC aren't journalists. They are. I think every journalist has a viewpoint. My viewpoint is very clear. I don't hide it. It's that I think what Edward Snowden did is very admirable and heroic. But at the same time, the ultimate test of a journalist is what you publish accurate and reliable. And I think with regard to every story that we publish over the last 6 months, there hasn't been a single correction made to any of them. Very few have been called into question. And I think that's the ultimate question when it comes to, is this journalism?
Well, I think the point is not so much about MSNBC and what happens here, but more that sometimes when you talk about Edward Snowden, you do defend him. And some people wonder if that crosses a line.
Sure, I do defend him, just like people on MSNBC defend President Obama and his officials and Democratic Party leaders 24 hours a day.
Not everyone on MSNBC
I don't make any bones
does
about
that 24 hours a day.
No, not everybody, but a lot of people on MSNBC do. And so, sure, I don't make any bones about the fact that I consider what Edward Snowden did to be quite heroic, just like I consider what Chelsea Manning did to be heroic, and Daniel Ellsberg, who's one of my political heroes. I, as a journalist, am very grateful when people sacrifice their own interests to come forward and bring transparency to the United States government. That, to me, is what journalism is about, and we need a lot of that in the United States. So I absolutely do defend what Edward Snowden does, and I don't pretend otherwise.